Hey guys, it's Megan again, and I just got back from probably one of the craziest, most exciting nights that I've ever lived in my entire life.
The show is sold out, correct?
It is, it's sold out.
But
Except I reserved some tickets for a few friends.
okay.
And I was wondering if y'all would all come with me.
So let me start from the beginning. So a month ago, I got tickets to the Seth Meyers show through this ticketing company called 1iota. That's how you get any tickets here to any show in New York. They're a really big company, and they just, you just have to sign up for the wait list and see if you can get free tickets to the show. So I had already signed up and had an account because I went to Seth Meyers. So about a month ago, it was late September, I got an email from the 1iota team, and they said that Jimmy Kimmel was going to be in Brooklyn and the tickets just went up. I saw the email 2 hours after they sent it to me, so I was like, oh, there's no way I'm getting this. It's Jimmy Kimmel. He's huge, and he's only coming to Brooklyn for a week. There's no way I'm getting into this, right? But I tried it anyway. I told my mom that I had applied for the tickets, and she wanted to come down because she's always wanted to see Jimmy Kimmel. I told her it wasn't a guarantee, which it still wasn't at the time. And she's like, well, I'll just come down to visit you anyway. So I was like, okay, that'll work. So I put in for him for Monday the 21st, which was, of course, tonight. And I didn't hear back until last Thursday, which was just a few days before the show. And when I opened that email that said I got those tickets, I freaked out. I think I screamed. I was so excited. I was like, I have Jimmy Kimmel tickets. This is insane. So my mom came in and I confirmed the tickets, and then that Monday, so this is where the fun begins. So the first point of check-in was 3 o'clock. That means the doors open for check-in. That's when they would start checking you in and giving you tickets, and then the check-in closed for priority members at 4, and then general started after that. In the email, in the ticket, it recommended that you get to the line 45 minutes before that 3 o'clock check-in, and I was like, I've been to a couple of these shows before, and I thought that was crazy because, Good Morning America, we could have just gotten in pretty late, and same with Seth Meyers, and same with Kelly Ripa. All of those were super easy. So I wasn't thinking too much about it, but of course I've never experienced anyone on the scale of Jimmy Kimmel, so this was a whole different experience. So we ended up getting to the BAM Opera House, which is where it films in Brooklyn. We ended up getting there at 2:30, and I am so glad that we got there at 2:30 because there was already a line almost halfway down the block, and we were like, oh my gosh, are we even gonna get these tickets? It was crazy. So we ended up going and standing in line. We waited outside for 3 hours. It was really exciting, and we were all really hyped at first, but it got crazy. I mean, they treat you kind of like cattle, they're like, guys need to move closer together and move up because they had so many people. I guess the line ended up wrapping around the block, and we were part of the first crew that got there. It was really nice though because they gave us coffee. We got to talk to other people in line. It's kind of nice to meet some other people. There were a lot of negatives. It was really hard to go to the bathroom once it was like 3 o'clock. Thankfully, I didn't have to go to the bathroom, but I felt bad for the people that did have to go. Then the crazy people started coming around. We had this man that stood outside starting at about 2:45, and he screamed like a siren, and he had this giant fish, and it was entertaining for a second, but after 3 hours, it was really exhausting when all you would hear is him screaming over and over again. And then the news crews came around, which is kind of cool too, like the local New York news crews, because I was in the background of one of them. I don't know if I ended up making it on anything, but that was kind of cool. So I watched Jimmy Kimmel. I watch him mostly on YouTube, not on TV. But I guess he has a famous Aunt Chippy, which I did not know, and she is so hilarious, but she was so sweet. She came down the line and talked to every single person and got a picture with them if they wanted. I got a picture with her because I found out who she was. So after our 3-hour-long waiting period, we had to be herded into the opera house, which was so much fun. But then we finally had access to bathrooms, thankfully. But it really wasn't like, we didn't really have to wait that much longer after getting into the opera house for everything to begin. So I think my mom and I ended up getting in there around 5:30, and we all got settled around 5:45. And then they began taping right at 6. So it wasn't as strict as other shows I've been to, like Seth Meyers, you have to turn your phone off before, like, right before you get into the studio. You can't film in the studio. So Jimmy Kimmel, they were very chill. They had this guy that had like a t-shirt gun and was like shooting him into the audience. So that was kind of entertaining while we were waiting for Jimmy Kimmel. But like, I think at that point, all of us were like, we just want to see Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, so then finally the show, like the band came out and the show was about ready to start. And it just went like a real show, of course, like any other taping is, because it's a live taping. And Jimmy Kimmel came out, which was so cool to see him. He came out with Guillermo, who was supposed to be the Staten Island fairy. He was dressed in a fairy outfit, and he talked to his son who was in the audience, who was super cute, by the way. But yeah, it was super cool to see Jimmy. He didn't get to interact with the audience that much, but I think that they were on like a very like strict shooting schedule. So then the two guests were Bruce Springsteen and Alicia Keys, which of course, like, I freaked out. I love Alicia Keys. I don't know too much about Bruce Springsteen. I know he's amazing. I need to get into his music, but I just never have listened to his music. But I was still excited to see him because he's a music legend and icon. So that was kind of cool. He came in and promoted this movie he was working on. He was just kind of in and out. It wasn't like the big thing of the night, which is what I was not expecting. So then the big crazy surprise happened, which I lost it. But then when I found out that Alicia Keys was one of the guest stars, I freaked out even more because I actually, so this is another thing, I was never into Alicia Keys before probably about 6 months ago, like right before I moved to New York. I got really into kind of New York artists and singers, and I'd always loved Empire State of Mind, but I had never really gotten into Alicia Keys very much. So I became like this really huge fan of hers in like a couple months, and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I got to see her one day? So she came out on stage. She is absolutely gorgeous, by the way. She's super beautiful in person. We were really close. We were only like 7 rows from the front of the stage. He's like, oh, I heard that you have this concert tonight. She's like, yeah, and I reserved a few seats for some of my friends. And she looks at the audience, and I thought, oh, maybe she's like gonna pick a couple people to go from the audience. I was like, that's kind of cool. And then Jimmy goes, yeah, all of you guys are going to the concert for free. And I freaked out. I was like, I get to see Alicia Keys in concert. She's right here in front of me. This is insane. I didn't know how to react. I just started screaming, just of course, along with the rest of the audience. We all freaked out. It was so cool. So then she's like, yeah, I'll see you guys there. And then she like ran off stage. So they shut down the show, and then they explained to us, they're like, okay, we're gonna give anyone who wants tickets to this show, but you have to walk over there, which it was like down the street. So that was part of the deal, was that we had to walk over there with Alicia Keys and Jimmy Kimmel and Guillermo. Of course, so we were in the front to watch the taping, so that means we were like last to get out of the theater. So we were like the very end of the audience, so I didn't even get to see them walking us over there. I don't even know what happened to Alicia Keys. I saw Jimmy Kimmel and Guillermo leave for like a hot second. We're like, oh, bye, Jimmy. We're like, oh, yeah, okay. But then we all walked over there. We had tickets. We got tickets in our hands. We had to go through security because the show started at 8, you know. Okay, so yeah, there were a ton of performers, and they all performed like anywhere from 1 to 4 songs, just kind of depending on who they were and what they did. So there was ASAP Ferg, there was Casanova, there was Angelica Vila, I think that's how you say her name. There's Fat Joe, CNCO, who I'm pretty sure was lip syncing, but they did a great job dancing. Moneybag Yo, Lil Tecca, who, by the way, he was very energetic on stage, not like he was in the past. And And so then Alicia Keys came on. That was the big moment. I was actually surprised that they didn't save her for last, but I think it was part of how they worked it out with Jimmy Kimmel so that they could get her edited and on air in time for the show. She did just an amazing job, and she's honestly just so generous. I thought that was so cool that she brought this whole audience and reserved a ton of sections of seats for us. And we just actually left right after she was done. She performed No One, she performed, of course, Empire State of Mind, and then she did a couple of her new songs, which were also really good. She's just a great performer, honestly. She has so much energy, and it was really cool to see. We ended up getting out of there close to 10 o'clock, so it was basically an 8-hour experience, but all that waiting was so worth it for everything that we got to experience, and that was definitely a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I never thought I'd be a part of something like that, like an audience like that. And it's always so fun to see it on TV. I did not expect that it was gonna happen to me. I'm sorry that I didn't get it out today. It's just a lot of editing. It's really late right now, and I'm just gonna edit it tomorrow. I'm gonna have a video Tuesday, which is now today. I won't have one tomorrow, Wednesday. I'm just gonna kind of take a day off. Honestly, I think I need a little bit of a break, but I will be back Friday. I just haven't had time to film. Usually I film on Mondays, but there was a lot going on. So I'll give you guys like a little updated video on Friday, and then I'll be back to my regular scheduling next week. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will of course see you guys on Friday. Bye.